Hello and welcome to this video tutorial with my stamp lady. This is Chris and I'm so glad to share with you the Dandelion Wishes stamp set with the Celebrations stamp set. So we're going to get started on this card that you can make. So for this Dandelion Wishes card, we're going to be using the Dandelion Wishes stamp set, and this is a red rubber set. And then we will also be using the Special Celebrations set, which is also a red rubber set, but comes in two boxes. There are sentiments that coordinate with the, for the inside, for the sentiment for the front. So for this card, I am using Thanks for Being You, and it coordinates with You Share So Much, So Gladly, So Often. I'm blessed to have you in my life. And you can use that on the inside if you want, but of course you don't have to. So those are the two sets I'm using. All of the dimensions for this card are on my blog, mystamplady.com, all the sizes and the projects I used, and you can find all of the supplies in my online store at shopwithmystamplady.com. So we have a card base. I have cut a piece of thick Whisper White in half. It's 4¼ by 11 inches, scored at 5½ inches. And then this, I'm just going to set that aside because I don't need that right now. So for my background, I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this is regular weight, 4 inches by 5¼ and I'm going to put this into the Seaside folder to get that embossed background. So we'll just place that in the center there. Let me bring my Big Shot in and we'll run this through the Big Shot. I have the Big Shot platform, one clear acrylic plate. Sorry, that was a tongue twister there. And then this is a 6-inch wide folder. So we're going to place it with the fold up. I have had in the past that if you place it this way, you run the risk of dragging it against the edges, and then pretty soon it will wear out that fold, and then it'll come apart. So try to remember to put that fold into the front or to the back, but I try to remember to put it forward. And one additional acrylic plate, and we roll that through to get that embossed. So I can set my Big Shot aside here and grab that embossed cardstock. Here we go. And then I can set this aside until I have the rest of my project done. So now for that dandelion piece, I am going to take my Whisper White cardstock, and this is 3 inches by 3¼ inches with the Night of Navy ink pad. Let's ink this up. And we're just going to stamp that right in the center of this piece of cardstock. I decided that when I was preparing my sample, I decided I didn't want it just quite so plain. And so I took a little bit of the Balmy Blue and one of our sponge brayers. I'm going to ink up that sponge brayer, and notice when you ink up the brayer, you don't want to go back and forth because then you just get one section. You want to continually roll in one direction, and that way you'll get the best coverage and you'll get it rolled out too. Okay, oh, I got my sample here, my video sample, a little bit darker than my sample. So I would have just stopped a little bit earlier if I didn't want it quite so dark. Okay, so let's place this using some of my snail adhesive. And we're going to mat this, and this is 3 1/8 inch by 3 3/8 inch Night of Navy cardstock. I like to flip it over, and rub the back when I'm using that snail adhesive. It gives it a little bit of a better grip. And I don't like to rub on the front just in case I have something on my fingers, you know, ink, something on there. And then I don't want to get it onto my stamped project. So that's why I typically tip that over. Now I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that's 1/2 inch by 2½ inches. And that sentiment from that Special Celebrations, Thanks for Being You. And we'll just stamp this right here. I want to let this dry before I touch it too much because I don't want to smear it. I'm going to put the dandelion piece onto this Whisper White piece that I embossed with the Seaside Wishes. Kind of putting that up towards the top. And again, I'm going to just rub it from the back side. I don't want to get any ink on the front that I can avoid getting on there. I have a length of Whisper White Baker's Twine. This is one of my favorite. I go through a lot of the solid white and the solid black, it seems like, of the Baker's Twine, just to add a little bit of something extra to my cards. But yet it doesn't overpower the cards. And we'll just tie. Now you'll notice that this cardstock is the Whisper White cardstock that I embossed is a little bit weaker because of the embossing that I did. So those lines. So I may have to retie my bow once I get it put down on the card front. I can kind of affix that, but this will be glued down. And with the Seaside folder, you'll notice that it does weaken that quite a bit. I mean, every time I use it, so you just want to be a little careful just with the way that the fold or the lines and the paper are. Okay, I'm putting down some dimensionals just to pop it up from the background. That way, my ribbon, it's not gonna, you're not gonna see it like fold over the ribbon and see a bulge under where that, or the ribbon, the twine, where the twine is. So it will also give it a little bit of lift, and you'll see some shadowing from underneath. So a couple of reasons to do that. Okay, I've got all of that off. And let's just place this on the card front. Like I said, I can adjust once I have this glued down. It'll be a little bit easier to actually adjust my bow because now there's a little bit more strength, or there's just a little more hold. It's a little stronger, that paper. There we go. Okay, so now I have that little bow there. I have put some snail adhesive on the back side of my sentiment, and so I'm just going to place that down here. And this is my Dandelion Wishes card. Quick and easy, a little embossing to help add some background interest to that and some texture. You could easily make many of these and have them ready to go. If you have any questions, contact me, Chris, at mystamplady.com, and all the supplies are available in my online store at shopwithmystamplady.com. Have a great day.